Recently I've been working on my posture while swimming. Could you possibly comment on muscle use, maybe related to the different strokes? Honestly, when it comes to swimming, I'm like an African failed state. No racist. Although, it might be race-related if you were to believe those geneticists. But I need to say for the record, I am not a competitive swimmer. Maybe it's a thumbnail. Sue me for clickbait. Preach! Testify! Look, I want to answer this, but it's either very tough, very boring, or a very easy question. It's very tough because everyone's different. And it's pretty boring if I just list the muscles used in a video, like the sub-intermedius major and the vastus rectus digitalis. And the easy answer here is just type muscles used in swimming into Google. But to me this is a great question because there's this misconception that an activity uses certain muscles as opposed to the way you do an activity or the setup of your body determines the muscles that you use. Now, I'll do a separate video on what I think are the maths and the physics relevant to locomotion, but it's called biomechanics. Bio is life, is you, is your body. Well, before we get to the muscles, we've got to look at the skeleton and how that's set up. Now, I know you said you're working on your posture, so I just want to be sure that we're both looking at posture in the same way, says the man slumped in a chair. Now, swimming works your lats, your back minor too, your tricep and your bicep, but whether you use them depends entirely on how you swim, said my Scottish swim teacher. Now, swimming's got different strokes, and I see that as the equivalent of competing in the running forward, backward and sideways Olympics. And I can't comment intelligently on butterfly because I'm submerged within 5 strokes. It's DWB, drowning while black. I mention running though because it's unlikely that Usain Bolt would be the world champion in the lateral shuffle. Not enough crab DNA. Or maybe he does. And there's a theory that a lot of sprinters have hamstring problems because they only go forward. They don't do enough other plane movement. Generally, we only run forward, but in swimming, they're using 2 planes out of 3. So is it a better overall workout? When standing upright, the optimal position for the body is neutral. Now, neutral means if you got medieval and drilled a hole through the top of your head, it would go through your centre of mass and end up in the middle of your feet. Second, neutral also means the pelvis is neutral. Think of the pelvis like a spirit level with those bubbles. It can tilt forward, backwards or sideways, but the aim of the game is to keep the bubble in the middle. Thirdly, the shoulder joint has to have full range of movement. This basically means full extension, flexion, abduction, adduction, internal and external rotation, all while the spine stays in alignment. Fourth, the ball and socket joint of the hip can express full hip hyperextension and deep flexion for dem tumble turns, as well as abduction, adduction, and internal and external rotation. Fifth, the humerus, arm, and the femur, leg bone are in neutral. Think like a gyroscope. And sixth, you avoid radial flexion and foot pronation. This joint alignment checklist is pretty crucial in swimming, but not for the same reasons as it is in running, cycling or weightlifting. In those other sports, if the joint alignment's out, the forces transmitted damage the tissues. Basically, you get pain, or you might know it as, what's that word? Injury. With swimming, the water dissipates the forces, so the tissues are under less strain unless you're at it multiple hours a day, every day. Now, where joint alignment becomes MVP is when you're thinking about speed and efficiency. It's all about drag, or south of the border, drag. The least drag is created in the water with neutral joint alignment. Now, shoulder joint restriction means you've got to get the extra range by compensating with your spine or your pelvis. It's the same problem with the overhead squat. If you've got restricted shoulders, forget El Chapo, you're El Snapo. See, I'm gonna snap myself up. And if your hip joint range is saying, we're compromised, pull out, you're going to have to adjust your pelvis to either anterior, posterior, or lateral tilt. Now, all these little shifts are going to knock you out a straight line and create drag. But a pelvic shift in something like cycling equals knee or back pain long before it affects the speed. Now, don't get me twisted. If you don't have this joint alignment, you can still swim fast. You just have to create more power output to overcome the drag, which will make you more fatigued, which means you swim slower. Okay, scratch that. You need alignment. Hopefully this starts to explain why it's not easy to answer which muscles are used in swimming. That's going to probably take me about 5 videos. It's going to end up like a police academy thing. But good luck with it, sir. Keep stroking and bust me a thumbs up, because let me tell you something. And if you like my vibe, please subscribe.